Awesome. It looks like we're live, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing? I see a lot of nobody wants to show their faces this morning. Is everyone still waking up? Yes? No? Feel free to interact with me in the chat. My name is DDA Ponce. People know me also as DJ, so whichever one you want to refer to me as or remember me as. But we are coming live from the grid here in Sacramento at Dwell Point, and we got a cool, very chill exercise for you all today to get your creative minds flowing and going. So I'm DDA Ponce. I'm with Square Root Academy. We expose youth like you all to the fundamentals of science, tech, engineering, and mathematics. And today we're going to be exposing you all and showing you all how to make a website. Now, we're not going to go through the super technical details of how to traditionally make a website. I'm not teaching you all any HTML, so don't worry about trying to learn anything super technically advanced. We're going to use one of our good friends, at least a good friend of mine, which has been Google, helped me a lot through college and whatnot. And we're also going to study some designs of some websites. Now, we're not just making any old website in particular, at least not with me right in this moment in time. We're making a playlist because it's Friday and I want to listen to music, and I also want to know what things you all like to listen to. So we're going to create somewhat of a very big musical palette via a website. So one thing I would highly recommend, since you all have to be on a computer to be watching this in the first place, is go ahead and just if you have Google. If you don't, it's all good. But if you don't, I also recommend you get Google because they have a lot of cool resources that we're going to play around with here today. So if you want to follow along with me as we go throughout this design process of making a website with our playlist, I highly recommend opening up another tab, listening in, and also we'll be looking at the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. A little bit about me. I don't know how many of you were here yesterday, but just a little bit about me. I'm from Florida and Georgia originally. I say that because I spent basically half the time between Florida and Georgia, moved around a lot as a kid. And for the past like 10 years or so, I've been in Sacramento. Studied engineering at Sac State. That's where I met a good friend of mine, and we started Square Root Academy. We also started another business. It was a car dealership in college at some point in time, just because we didn't want to be broke college kids. And now, in addition to doing this, we've learned how to make websites, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about with you all here today. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So with building a website, one of the first things, and you can feel free to do the half thing, that's totally fine. With building a website, I got Apple up. Apple is one of my design inspirations, so to speak. But when we think about building a website, right, we're really, some people look at it as, oh, we're just building a website. When really you're building a different kind of communication tool. You're building a different way to communicate with people that you want to interact with, that you want to purchase something from you, that you want to do business with. Essentially, anybody you want to talk to in whatever kind of way you're looking to talk to them. That's the purpose of a website. Now, so when you're designing a website, keep that in mind, that I'm not just building something to just put products and services on. I'm building something that allows me to communicate. So, and when you want to talk to somebody, ideally, you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste their time. More selfishly, you don't want to waste your time. You want to make sure you get what you want out of it. Now, with the website we're going to make today, it's not going to require so much consumer research and everything like that, because it's more so up to you and how you want to design it to look. But just for the sake of design, we want to make sure that you all have at least some good idea of good design and bad design, because there is a such thing. And though that is very biased, there are some universal truths to that bias. And we're going to go through some today. So right here on the screen, I have for you apple.com. A lot of us know Apple for iPhones, cool, innovative products, and just being a very huge tech giant in this industry. Now, we also know Apple for their design sensibility. We like to think of them as one of the go-tos for, all right, well, how should things be designed or looked at in this day and age? And their website is no exception to that. It's a very simple, sleek, clean website, as we see here, and it comes with a tagline and a focus. Now, when you're making a website, you want to have a focus point. You typically will have a focus point. You're not really just making a website to just put your name on it. You're either maybe trying to sell something, market something, or inform someone about something, or all of those things and more. In this case, Apple wanted to showcase their watch, the Apple Watch. And they do that in a way that is very simple. There's not a lot on the screen. There are different products here on the top that you can go to. But what they wanted to let you know today was, here we have this watch. And we want to tell you specifically about this watch and why you should care and buy this watch. We have these other products, but today we want to really talk to you about this watch. And the way they do that is by making it the first thing you see when you go to their website. And they even add on a nice tagline. So a tagline, you can think about Nike when we think about taglines, just do it. Or Frosted Flakes, they're great, right? They're just things that kind of keep these things in your mind to help you remember them. So even after you leave the page, that tagline is supposed to stay with you to keep reminding you of that page you were on. Here they have the future of health is on your wrist. Something talking about their Apple Watch. Now, if we scroll down, they talk more about one of their other products, the iPad Air, and you see that they kind of divided it. This one was dark with little pops of color. It shows their logo, and it gives you options, learn more or buy. But as you go through your website, it's good to kind of differentiate what you're wanting to talk to a person about. They wanted this to be the highlight, but they also wanted to make other things the highlight. So to do that, they kind of switch up the color. That one was black, this one's white with blue, and just has a whole different feel to it. And they do this throughout the rest of their website. So you can kind of see there's a good divisive nature. When you're building your website and when you're talking, it's good to have to keep your audience engaged. And a way to do that is to show them little different things from time to time, even if that's just a change in the color scheme that you're showing them or the types of images. First, we saw a couple watches, we saw this iPad Air, and now we see a few watches kind of in this circular shape. So they're taking good cues of what people may like or what people may want to see just by showing it to them in different ways, and just showing us, the rest of their product lines and different things. But the thing about Apple is they keep it pretty simple. You see a few words, a few headlines, and ultimately an image. So you want to keep your audience engaged by not giving them so much to read and also giving them something nice to look at. It's kind of a basic thing. It can almost feel like, such a bourgeois thing. It's like, wow, just make it look good. But it's very true. You want people to want to stare and look at and stay in a place that you want to communicate with them in. Another good website to look at for good design, simplicity, straightforwardness is, I will say, Tesla. Tesla, they come and they show you this is exactly what we do. These are our cars. These are the different models of our cars. And here are a couple of other aspects of our business, the solar roof, solar panels. But as soon as you get onto their website, you can already gather that, all right, it looks like they sell cars. You may not know that they're electric cars, but they're these kind of cool looking cars. It looks pretty sleek, it looks pretty nice. And you can scroll down, get more information, you just see more cars. And what's left on the screen at the same time is the different models of cars that they do have. So if you wanted to look, say, specifically at the Model X, you would just click right there where it says Model X, and it would show you in this nice fanciful way their Model X. Now, they're pretty advanced in the sense of they have, the ability to give you a 360 kind of view and pan of their car, show it to you in a very elegant manner. And this is just the way they express their design to us. But it's nice because if I'm a person looking for a car, I can go to Tesla and I just see, boom, these are their offerings. I can click on one to get more details about it immediately. Now, another thing about websites are the types of information. Tesla, Apple, they sell products. Some people just want to give you information. So the way they show that information can be very key. One website I like to go on and look for my hip hop information, my music information is Hip Hop DX. And I like their website just because, as soon as I get on there, I get kind of a feel for exactly what's going on in the hip hop world. So I get my little updates. I can look on the side. I can click on one of these news articles. And if I want more, I can scroll down and just see more information. And it's pretty straightforward. It's a little more busier than the other websites we looked at, but the purpose is different. Here, they're trying to give us and sell us information, so to speak. Just let us know here's what's going on, and these are what we think are the most important things going on. And you'll notice that by, they obviously thought New Music Friday albums were going to be the bigger, more important factor of today. So they wanted to highlight that on their website. So as you're creating your website, you want to think about, what am I really trying to say? What is important to me? What do I care about? And how can I communicate that with the people that I'm hoping are coming to my website? Now, some websites are sometimes super simple, like almost incredibly simple, to the point where it almost seems boring. Now, if you go to like a YeezySupply.com, they're just selling shoes and they go straight to the shoes. There's nothing super fancy about it. They just show you, here are our next 3 shoes. Here's when you could buy them. This is what they're called. These are the colors. Very straightforward. If you're a person that likes to be very direct or likes to show things in a very clean manner, this would be a nice website for you to study. This isn't the only way to show clothes, because some people will go to something like a Off-White website where they have a bunch of their clothes, and you can see on the side a bunch of different options for looking at their clothes. You can view them by size, season, color, category, etc., etc. Now, it's all really up to you and your preference. I just want to show you all some different examples. Now, because we've gone through some quote unquote good websites, I have to show you some very pretty terrible websites. Now, there's this one website called Mock Plus, and they have a few different showings of why some websites are just not that great. So we're going to go through a couple of them. And mind you, we're just going over these now so you all can kind of get an idea of like what makes websites good, what makes websites not so great. And then we're going to go through and make our own website using Google. So we'll show you that in a bit. But just keep in mind the things and take in what you like and discard what you don't like. And just keep moving like that. But sometimes with websites too, some people can get a little carried away. And what I mean is, let me unzoom so much here. What I mean is, like, I don't know if you all were able to see, but this is somebody's website. Now, I personally think it's a bad website. And obviously that is my opinion. Some people may find this to be very appealing for whatever reason. The reason I would consider this to not be the best website is because when I go on here, I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at. I'm not entirely sure if this is all, outdoor equipment. I'm not entirely sure where to look at for certain types of information. It just seems a little all over the place. And for a person like me personally, I don't want to have to try to figure out what something is when I'm going to a website. That's the key part about simplicity, and that's also what can help you in making a good website, is making it very, very clear. Looking at this doesn't seem that clear to me. But if you all find clarity in this, that is also fine for you. But for a lot of people, when we go onto a website, I don't want to spend time trying to figure out the manual and how to put this thing together. I ideally want to look at an object and say, okay, this looks like it should go here, because that's how it was designed, to be simple and easy to use. So thinking about that when you're going through a website and not making it so cluttered, because you may not know what you're looking at. So we were looking at this one and how they have a bunch of things they're selling, right? Now, most of us may know about a cool company called Amazon, and we know they're the sellers of basically everything and anything. The way they go about doing it is they have a lot of stuff on their website, but they do it a little differently. They start off with highlighting their search bar. They know they have a lot of stuff, and they know not everyone's looking for the same thing. So the way they're trying to help us with that is they're going to say, here, let's highlight this search bar, and let's go through and allow them to pick what they want to look at. We'll highlight some things that we think is universal to everyone. In this case, new to TV and movies. Most people like TV. Most people like watching movies. So they'll highlight that, and then they'll have some products on the bottom. Now, they have all types of different technologies they use to kind of track what people may like, and will show you things that you may not even know you were interested in. Kind of magic in and witchery, but it's really all tech and smart technology. So that's how they go about showing it to you in a less overwhelming way, in a way that gives you the ability to go directly to what you're looking for. And just scrolling down, another good thing about different websites you'll notice is contrast. Contrast and color contrast. You want to have a website that, if you're going to be colorful, that's totally fine. We're looking at a pretty colorful website right here, but they're able to do so in a way where everything is still legible. Some people, on the other hand, will go and do websites to where they have multiple colors, but it's harder to read. So looking at a website like this, we see it's all blue. There's a few different hues of blue, but then they also incorporate like a lime green / like yellow kind of tint to some of the words. And honestly, it's hard to read. I would like to consider myself a person that has really good eyesight, and I'm having trouble reading some of these words. So when you're thinking about your website too, think about color. Think about the contrast of color. You want it to be, you want to add the darks with the lights, or good contrasting tones, not anything that's going to clash together when you put them together. That way, that's how you get some of these other websites that come out looking a little more vibrant. Like we go back to the Apples, and you'll see they use, where they have maybe a lot of white and black, they have their pops of color. So it's easy to see. They have this big white background here, but the icons have their little pops of color. Same thing if we go to Pixar. Pretty simple stuff, and their website is hyper simple too. They just have a picture of one of their movies coming out called Soul. Not sure what it's about, might check it out though. But yeah, those are some key things. So color, the content you have on there, and how you organize your content is super key, because if it's cluttered, it just feels messy. It just feels like it's going to be a difficult process to try to find what I want. We want it to be extremely simple, to the point where a child can get up, go to that website, and know exactly what to do without making an error. So I don't know if anyone has questions or any thoughts on that, or if you have any websites that you think are really, really good, or just any opinions on websites in general. But if you do, feel free to put it in the chat. So I'll give y'all a couple seconds if anyone does have any questions. I will continue going on though, because I do want to get us to making our own website. So just to bring it back, websites, when you're making them, you want to make sure whatever you're trying to communicate is extremely clear. Again, going back to Apple, the future of health is on your wrist. Come with the tagline if that helps. There's another really good, actually Sacramento-based organization called Afro Yoga, and they do a really good job at incorporating their brand colors. Now, they like to use somewhat of a goldish brown with some pinks and some teals, and you see that within their branding. So they'll say exactly what they do when you go on there. A global wellness movement for women of color. They have a lot of things in their green or pink kind of palette, and you'll see that their font is also consistent. You want to also make sure your fonts look the same. Otherwise, it starts to look a little just a little messy. And you may not notice this until you start to make your websites and see other websites. So it's good to explore. But this is just another example of something, of a good way to work your website, because brands will have like their own colors and color palettes that they may leverage. And there's different ways you could go about leveraging those things. But for us today, we are going to be building our own website. So our website that we're going to be building is just to share our playlist. Like I said, it's Friday. I want to put on some music and relax and chill out. And I also want to see what kind of music you all out there are listening to these days too. So if you already have some songs in mind, feel free to start thinking about them and maybe even putting them in the chat as a YouTube link we can add or look into. But we're going to now transition into how do we design and make our own website using Google. Now, before I personally like to do anything, I usually like to come up with somewhat of a design process, or a design for whatever it is I'm about to do. With websites, you're able to do something called wireframe designs. Now, a wireframe design is going to simply be just you could use a sheet of paper. I'm going to show you a tool I use on Google to make mine. And you just kind of draw out where you would want the pieces of your website to be placed whenever you do design your website. So, like I said, if you have Google, all you'll have to do is, and I know I got a bunch of emails, but you'll go to Google, and one of the things I go to first is Jamboard. So Jamboard is essentially it's just a board you can go and kind of just write on and put ideas on. The cool thing about Google is very collaborative, so you can have multiple people write on these same boards. So here you'll see there are a bunch of different boards that I've made for other people before that collaborated with other people. Today, though, I'm just going to make mine, and we're going to do a wireframe of our website that's just going to hold our songs. Now, for me, I want to make something very simple, straightforward. I want to have my, few favorite genres. I listen to a lot of rap music. I actually listen to quite a bit of classical music. So I'll add like those two genres for me personally. Maybe I'll do like a crowd favorite or something. So the songs that you put on or the genres you put on, I'll add those into that column. But to start with, I have my Jamboard open here. And to do anything with Jamboard, you can actually write on Jamboard, kind of like Paint. So if you're familiar with Paint, somewhat similar. Oh, I got you, Do for Love, Tupac. I got you. It's going to go in my rap column. But wireframe design. So here I'm going to just draw out, I'm going to pick my pen, and now I'm just going to make a square because, website's going to most likely look like a square. And I'm just going to draw a square. Now my square doesn't look all that great. Don't judge my drawing. Just follow what I'm doing, and also do this yourself too. So if you're watching, feel free to play with your own design of how you would want your website to look that just houses your music. This is essentially you kind of building your own version of YouTube, Tidal, Spotify, just a music player in general. So my music player is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to have maybe like a banner here that has like some art image. I'm just gonna write art image. That's where that's gonna go. And then, like I said, I want to add in, I listen to rap and like classical music, and I'll do like a crowd favorite. And so I'll put those as different pages, as different like tabs you can click. That's personally how I want to design my website today. So I'm gonna put like rap right here. I'm going to put classical, and here I'm just going to put other. And I'll probably name that something fancy later or something. But I'm going to have that there. Here's going to be just a background image. And also, I want to give it a name. This is my playlist. So, actually, does anyone have any name suggestions for my playlist? I'm just going to call it the list right now, but if you all have any ideas, call it Daniel Caesar? Is that what you're saying? Or is that a song? Well, for now, as I'm waiting, oh, he's an artist. Okay, Daniel, I feel like I've heard of Daniel Caesar. Okay. Right now, I'm just going to call my list The List. Or maybe The Grid List or something. But yeah, I'm going to put my title it like that. And I think on my first page, when you come to my page, my playlist, I want to just give you my top 3 for the day. So I'm going to just write down, like today's top 3. That's what I'll put down for here. Today's top 3. And that's what I'll actually write on the page whenever I get to it. And on today's top 3, I'm just going to have just the songs. And the thing about the songs is I'm going to try to use songs that correlate with my vibe for the day. So it's like, how am I feeling today? What kind of song am I feeling like today? Am I feeling like, a Beethoven? Am I feeling like a Future? I don't know. Maybe both. You never know. But I'm going to make my playlist look something like this. Now, mine is going to be very simple. I'm just going to have today's top 3. It's going to be 3 songs right there, and it's just for my top 3. Now, this is just my home page, so let me also indicate that. home page. Now I'm gonna also have another page, and because I have different tabs. So this page, it'll probably be my rap page. So this will be whenever I'm clicked on my rap profile. And I have my classical and then other. And then for my rap, same thing. I'm just gonna put my top 3 rap songs for today. My particular website and platform is going to be just for how I'm feeling that particular day. I'm not going to try to do anything that just has all the songs, but I want to just, I'm going to put on what I'm feeling like today and just have people rock with me and how I'm feeling for this particular day. So this will be how I do my rap one, and then I'll do the same thing for like my classical video. So this would be a very rough version of a wireframe design. So let me write that here. Wireframe design. And I don't like to write down all the letters. So yeah, this is a wireframe design. So I like to do this before I even go to building out my websites or anything like that, just because I don't want to waste time trying to figure it out while I'm making the website. Instead, let me say, all right, I want it to look like this, simple, have my few pages, and then now I get to go and simply design. So now we're going to go to Google Sites and begin to actually build out this wireframe design. And like I said, if you have any questions at all, let me know, put it in the chat. I do see some songs that I'll be sure to incorporate those on my list, on the list. All right. So I'm going to go back to my email, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to sites. So let me just see where that is. So here is where Google Sites is. I don't know if you all can see this icon, but I'm going to go to Sites. And I already started playing with one page so far. But I'm going to go ahead and start from scratch. So when you get on Sites, you'll have different templates. So you can choose different templates if you want to use something different. I want to start off blank so we can just look at it directly, as it may look starting from scratch. So when you get onto Google Sites, this is all you're going to see for the most part. You'll have your kind of like your banner image. Like if most of you are on Facebook, you kind of have an idea for the banners that are on there. Same thing with like Twitter. But here's like your banner area. I can put, change my page title. I'm going to call mine The List for now. I'm not a big fan of the name yet though. So if y'all have any suggestions, please let me know. Here is your kind of your page. It has nothing on it just yet. And you can enter your site name here. I'm going to put, DJ's playlist or DJ's grid playlist. Now, if you look to the side, here is where you can add in a lot of different elements. You can add in a text box, you can add in images, you can embed different forms of code. I won't get into that. That's a little more technically advanced, but if you wanted to look into that, feel free. There's a lot of cool options you can use with adding embedded features. Excuse me. And then there's different layouts. So the layouts are cool because, excuse me, you can simply just add a format, and simply add images, add your text. So if I wanted just an image and the text, I can add that right here. If I wanted to add another text box, I can do that right here. And if you want to delete, just go to remove. Excuse me. Same thing with this area here. You can just remove the pieces you feel like you don't need. So in terms of adding and taking away different aspects from the site, it's fairly simple on Google Slides, so I won't spend too much time going through each single thing. But just know that depending on how you want to design it, they already have some settings here for you that make it a little easier. And then you could also go and add in your table of contents. If you want to add in an image carousel, you can. And if you wanted to add even more, I could just add an image. I won't do that right here because I already have our wireframe design. And then what's also really cool is I can also just add in my YouTube videos, which we're gonna do here, like really easy. And we already have songs. So like I said, I wanted to go ahead and do a top 3 here, but first I want to change my background. So to change my background, I'm going to go to change image, and I'm going to upload. I took a picture of this Basquiat image. I was like, this looks really, really cool. If y'all don't know, Jean-Michel Basquiat is just this old, would have been old artist. He passed away in like the 90s, but he was from New York. So I took his painting because I'm like, I think my list should be like Jean-Michel Basquiat. So that's exactly what I did. And I'm fine with the list being right here, but maybe I want it to be a little bigger. So let me see if I can make it even bigger. Oh no, I can't. I can only do that. One thing you can also do with this is you can move it to the side. So if I want to, I can start it off more so to the side here. So there I got the list, and now, like I said, I wanted to put it to where it said today's top 3. So all I'm gonna need to do that is just this text box. So I'm just gonna put today's top 3, and I wanna make that bigger, so I'm gonna put it in that way, and I'm gonna make this bold. Okay. And I want to just put my three songs today. All right, I'm gonna actually go to the chat. Let me see. Can we scroll up in the chat? I want to make sure I get these songs because I think there might have been 3 or 4 songs. I remember seeing a
"Do for Love."
Yeah, "Do for Love" Tupac. So we're gonna add that one in there. And so the way we're going to add that, like I said, we're using Google Sites, real easy, and I just want to add my music, and I'm going to get my music from YouTube. So they are so cool that they already have a YouTube option here on their menu bar. So I'm going to just click YouTube. I'm going to type in Tupac, "Do for Love." And boom, I got the official video lyrics, and there are different options also. So like if I wanted just instrumental, I could have that. But I'm just gonna go with this first option. I'm gonna select it, and there's one of my songs. I'm gonna shrink it down just a little bit because I want to add 3. Next song, I see Consideration, Rihanna featuring SZA. All right, let's go to Consideration. Rihanna featuring SZA. Search for that. And let's go and let's put that on there too. And, you know, I'm just shrinking them down, and then I'm just gonna move them to where they're sitting right next to each other. And then I want to add just one more. So let's see, I see the Denial Twist. And that is by the White Stripes. Find that song, the Denial Twist, the official music video. I'm gonna select that. Shrink it just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna put that right here next to these 3. So now I have just my basic website. It's called The List, and here's today's top 3. Simple, pretty straightforward enough. I'm kind of OCD, so they have to be like the same size. So like you just saw me do, you can completely change the size. You can make these fill up the whole page, or you can make them go in very small grids like this. Now, I wanted to add multiple pages, so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go back to my menu area, and I'm going to go to where it says Pages. So right now I just have my home page. Here I'm gonna add my rap page. And then I'm also just gonna go ahead and make my classical page. And we'll just keep those 2 for right now. So for my rap page, same thing, I'm gonna go back, so when you're trying to add content onto your pages, make sure you're clicked onto your page, but go back to where it says insert so that you can go back and add content to your pages. So here I'm gonna go back to YouTube. What song? I was definitely thinking about a song earlier today. Well, let's see. I listened to a lot of Drake. Let's go to Drake. "Life is Good," because life is good sometimes. And gonna get this with the clean lyrics, you know. And what other song? Any other rap songs? Feel free to put those in the chat. Oh, I see Come and Go by Juice WRLD. I haven't heard that one yet. Juice WRLD. Marshmello. We're gonna add this one. And you could also add your songs onto the actual banner itself. And one more. Red. I see. Ooh, some J. Cole. All right, let's see that. Crooked Smile. Who are people's top fives? That's what you should put on your website, is who's in your top five. Crooked Smile. All right, so here are my top 3 rap songs, and let me just put my top 3 rap songs, just so the page already knows, and you could just extend it like this. Make sure that it is in the middle. And then I'm gonna go, and now I'm gonna close it off with my classical music. Now, does anyone in here listen to classical music? And if so, what classical music songs do y'all know about? Because I'm curious. I know there's one thing, I like to listen to some Bach. And there's this one video, but I forget the name of the song. But you know, Bach's pretty cool. We're gonna just put the best of Bach. And some of you probably really do like classical music if you like certain Disney movies, because that's like all they use. Just an FYI. And I see Eric Satie, Flight of the Bumblebee. Who's Eric Satie? Let me see. Eric Satie. Oh, Claire de Lune. What you know about Claire de Lune? I feel like such a nerd talking about classical music. This is great. Eric Satie. 3 Gymnopedies. What's this? And I'm definitely going to have to add some of the Claire de Lune. Oops. Wait, what happened? And if you ever get into any issues, all you got to do is Control Z and continue to undo what you did. Just like I needed to do. And actually, speaking of music, let me go ahead and play some while we make this. And for the person that said Claire de Lune, is there a specific song? Or just in general? Oh, Claire de Lune is the song by Claude Debussy. I think it's Debussy. I may be saying that wrong, so excuse me if I am. But we'll also incorporate this song. Cool. And this is basically my playlist. I got my top 3, then I have my rap music that I want to listen to for today, and then I have my 3 classical songs that I want to listen for today. And this would be something I could just share with my friends. It's like, you know, what are you listening to today? Well, these 3 have been on my top, you know, on my today's top 3, and these other songs are what I'm listening to as far as it concerns rap and classic. And then if I wanted to just publish it, I could, and I would just call it DJ's grid playlist, and then I could publish it. And so here would be like the link to copy. Okay. And then I can go and view my playlist or my website. And so if I wanted to share this with anybody, one cool thing about, the internet in general is, for one, I don't want to give anyone this long URL. So one thing I would use to share it with people is something called Bitly. So it's bit.ly. And you can basically use Bitly to shorten up your link and just share it out easier. So it's better if you do have an account with it, but I'm just going to take this, copy it. I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm going to just place my link in here. Shorten. Whoa, you've exceeded your quota. Create a free account. So I would need to create a free account. Let me see. It's funny, I'm still logged in from my last time. Let me see if I open a new window. If we can go to bit.ly. How many of you already know about Bitly? Does anyone know about Bitly at all? Yes, no? No? Okay. Yeah, Bitly, for some people that have like long links that they're trying to share with a lot of people, but they don't want to share the long link, they use this to just shorten it. So it looks like I would have to make a new account, but essentially you could imagine this coming out just looking much smaller than this whole sites.google.com/lightandwater.org/DJs grid playlist home. But that would be only if you wanted to shorten up your link and share it with a lot of people. But this is essentially how you could create a website pretty easily, pretty simply. We did this in very well under an hour. And it's a very simple thing. We just have our website. You go to it, it's called The List, and here's today's top 3 that we're listening to. So does anyone have any questions? Did y'all learn something today? Did anyone do this? Yes? Yes? Thumbs up? I'm seeing thumbs. Yes, I was following along. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, if you all have any of the links of your playlist links and you want to share it, feel free to put it in the chat and we can see if we can catch a song or two real quick, or just to see what you made. So if any of you did, for sure, just add your URL link to the chat and we'll check you out. So don't be shy. It's very, I'm sure everyone had their own way of creating their website, so I'd highly like to see them. That's normally what we would do, but I know we're, social distancing this summit experience. But as I mentioned, if you so choose, feel free to share your tunes. And for now, but yeah, we will be getting out of here soon. We got about, I think about 7 more minutes, about 6, 7 more minutes. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm trying to, is this song on? Can we put this on? Or just like the audio, so we can listen to some of this music? Because if nothing else, we'll just see how these look to play. And let me see. Okay, cool. Oh my God, anime. What you know about some anime? Or actually, let's listen to some of these songs. Let's listen to some classical. Let's turn this off. That one starts slow. But yeah, simply put, and think about it too. So as we're making this website, right? It's very simple. We just made like a playlist of songs we like to listen to. This is the Creativity Summit. You can get creative in the ways that you tell people about the music that you like, because maybe you're a person that knows a lot of good music, and you could start to have music that's only on your website and potentially charge people to check out the new artists that you're following and featuring. So something to keep in mind, because we did something like this. It was real quick. It seems like, oh yeah, anybody could just do that. And sure, anybody can just make a website. That is very true and awesome. But you could also take it further and figure out, well, how can I make this website communicate funds into my pocket or new ideas out into the world, or just anything that I'm doing. And so think about and leverage this as a resource for you. But yeah. If nothing else, reminder, my name is Mr. DJ. I'm with Square Root Academy. These are one of the things that we do. We'll be also teaching some classes on scholarsplayground.org. So if you're interested in taking some more online lessons on different topics in the STEM field or realm, feel free to check that out, or just visit us at squarerootacademy.com or scholarsplayground.org. But yeah, I'll be here for a bit. This was essentially our lesson for today, was figuring out how to make a website, how to put music on our website, and just rock out. Because with this, you can make a playlist, and who knows, you can go to any party and they may ask, well, can you share your playlist? And you could be like, yeah, go to my website. It has all the songs on there, and it'll be something that people are always going back to because they think you have great taste. So just food for thought. But like I said, I'll be here for the next couple minutes if any of you have questions. But if not, it's been real, and thank you all for tuning in. But and my name is DJ yet again, coming live from the grid at Dwell Point. Thank you. Oh, and yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Hope y'all had a blast and learned some stuff. My pleasure. Thank y'all for tuning in.